As glaciers on this mountainside melted, what was uncovered will chill you to your bones. Frozen in time and space, the serene highland landscapes of northern Italy's autonomous Trentino region hide dark and somber secrets. A case in point? One day in 2004, a guide was walking the snow-blanketed slopes of San Matteo when he came across a disturbing sight: 3 dead bodies dangling from a wall of ice. Mind you, as recently as the 1970s, Peo was little more than a remote farming hamlet in the Dolomite Mountains. Today, however, sustained by tourist euros from Italian and Russian vacationers, it's a modest but well-established ski resort. What's more, the mountains around Peo, rising precipitously to almost 11,000 feet, are home to ancient glaciers. The region's significance isn't just geological, however. Carved into its frozen expanse is a network of First World War trenches that offer moving glimpses into a truly dreadful battlefield. Italy's role in the conflict started on May 23, 1915, after the signing of the Treaty of London, a secret agreement that bound the UK, Russia, and France to Italy. The country was actually driven to join the war, though, by a nationalist movement called Unredeemed Italy, which advocated the radical expansion of national borders. Back then, Trentino and neighboring South Tyrol were territories of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They were considered unredeemed lands by Italy, and the fight to reclaim them became known as the White War, a historical event that saw a 250-mile-long front established through frozen mountains. Comparatively little is known about the conflict, partly because few reporters ventured to the front line. Today, however, as the alpine glaciers retreat and expose the bodies of the war dead, historians and forensic scientists are piecing together a picture of what took place in this high-altitude war zone. Indeed, excavations have revealed that both sides utilized complex military infrastructures in what were incredibly challenging conditions. For example, they carved tunnels and trenches, installed communications cables, built roads, and assembled cableways to transport supplies. On Marmolada, the tallest of the Dolomites, a so-called ice city was even built into a glacier. Echoing the dismal trench warfare of Northern Europe, artillery bombardment played a central role in the White War. In recent times, salvagers and historians have recovered a wealth of supplies and munitions from the mountains, including guns, helmets, gas masks, unexploded shells, and grenades. In 2006, for instance, a timber cableway station was discovered on Punta Lince, a site that rises 6,500 feet above Peo. Used for delivering supplies to the front line, the station was accessed via a 100-foot-long tunnel that cut through the mountain. On Corno di Cavento Glacier, meanwhile, an Austro-Hungarian garrison was recovered following efforts by a local alpine club. With straw beds, a commander's office, and a storeroom, the site offers a rare and intimate glimpse of day-to-day life during an often overlooked chapter of the Great War. Personal effects have also been exposed by the retreating glaciers: soldiers' diaries, uniforms, photos, playing cards, sewing kits, and, heartbreakingly, unsent love letters. Like elsewhere in war-torn Europe, Trentino's trenches were lonely and fearful places. The unfortunate young men posted to the mountains didn't fare well either. Around 150,000, in fact, died in the Italian Alps, and only a third of them perished in battle. The rest succumbed to the likes of frostbite and hypothermia. Some even fell victim to landslides and avalanches. In accounts of the period, in war diaries, whether they be Austrian or Italian, we find the same stories of the terrible hardship caused by the lack of sleep, the torments, and the massive snowfalls. University of Milan researcher Stefano Morosino told the National Geographic. The enemy took second place. Indeed, the true adversary was nature herself. In battle, though, both sides did engage heroically. However, their advances were frequently minor and hardly justified the loss of life. After more than 3 years of escalating skirmishes then, the Battle of Vittorio Veneto proved decisive. Indeed, on November 3, 1918, Italian forces advanced through Austrian lines and forced them into surrender. As for the 3 bodies recovered on San Matteo in 2004, well, the men may have been stretcher bearers operating during the closing days of the war, and yet they represent just a fraction of the total dead recovered. Moreover, while over 80 corpses have been found, it sadly proved almost impossible to identify them. The physical condition of the bodies is reasonably unspoiled, though. Frozen in the ice for decades, many are entirely mummified, meaning good quality DNA samples are easy to obtain. However, since no national DNA database exists, it's not possible to connect the bodies with any living relatives. Scientists, nevertheless, have been able to reveal something about the soldiers' histories by analyzing their remains. Most had damaged spines, for example, likely caused by hard physical labor. Forensic anthropologist Daniel Gaudio told National Geographic, "They fought while suffering from pain that we would consider intolerable today." The discovery of the bodies has also prompted some thought-provoking reactions. Franco Nicolas of Trento's Archaeological Heritage Office told The Telegraph that they feel contemporary. He said, "They come out of the ice just as they went in." The three bodies recovered from San Mateo now lie buried in a local Peo cemetery, with the town's growing war museum commemorating the sacrifices made by both sides. Angelo Dalpez, Peo's mayor, told The Telegraph that the community considers the institution collective property. Trentino was incorporated into Italy in 1919, but this is a place that's never forgotten what happened in the Great War. For the bodies that emerged from the ice are not nameless historical artifacts, but long-lost people's relatives who perished in arguably the most brutal conflict of them all.